Well, hey everybody, welcome to the Menolounge. I should just back up a little bit here. I'm Julie Gordon-White, CEO of MenoWell, Menopause Energy and Protein Bars. So excited to be here with you today. We are coming in, just the end of Global Menopause Awareness Month. So many events, so many cool things happening, so many women out there doing the thing. It's been wonderful, a few more events to go, and so of course we cannot skip the Menolounge. I'm really excited to bring on our guest today. I'm going to see if Melissa is out there because we're talking about incredible resources for women in all stages of menopause. So that is very exciting, and because when you start in peri, you go to post. So let me see if I can find her here. Let's see. I see you, Brenda. Hi. Here we go. I see you too, Stacy. Let's see. This is always the awkward part, right? Here we go. You want to come up too. Because we have partners, two women coming together doing the thing. So, hi, Melissa.
Hi, Julie. How are you?
I'm great. Are you wearing hot pink today too?
Yeah, I am.
What you got on? I love it. So glad to see you. Let me scoot this up here. I also see Stacy here, in hovering around in the background doing what she does.
Yeah.
So excited to have you. Someone just asked, are these available in Canada? I'm so sorry, not yet in Canada, because we have to translate all our packaging into French. So that's like a whole other thing. We're not quite there yet, but soon. I'm so thrilled. I've been talking while you're hopping on here about what you and Stacy have been doing in the background, pulling together the most amazing website and resources. So I just want to share Melissa Oliviera, Stacy Ulaccia, I hope I said that right, with HotPause Health, an incredible new platform resource of doctors, information, products, community, primarily targeted to women who are perimenopausal, and then of course moving forward, because you two ladies are in your 40s with little kiddos doing the thing, like it's getting hot in here. How do we deal with this? So great. welcome to the Menolounge.
Thank you, Julie, for having us. I mean, I know it's me on it, but Stacy's here in spirit, and we could not be more grateful to join you, but also just be in your orbit, because you have been pushing this conversation for years now. And so we're so grateful for you and your leadership and your steadfast, endurance on making sure that we are all having this conversation. So thank you for you.
Thank you for that. And I love that you said endurance, because it does feel like a marathon. It's like a sprint, marathon, like all of the things. So the more voices we have in this conversation, the better, because we are all just such tip of the iceberg in this.
That's right.
And it takes all of us to continue this momentum so women don't feel alone. They're not struggling in silence. And so thank you for you guys jumping in here. Stacy says, hi, we see you. So let's just start. Tell us a little bit about the story of HotPause Health. And by the way, if not now, but afterwards, go to HotPause Health, sign up. There's a great download there, resource guide for you, but just go learn more about what they're doing. So hotpausehealth.com. But tell us, why you guys wanted to start this, and why you decided like this was the approach to really help women.
Well, I don't think that we made HotPause Health. I feel like HotPause Health made us in many ways, because it was the pandemic and life was crazy and you have little babies and you're isolated, and then all of a sudden in your early 40s this little thing starts sneaking up on you. And in full transparency, Stacy and I weren't prepared for it. We we met years ago and we raised our babies together, and when we had our babies, there were very clear places where we could go, resources that we could connect with, whether that was Baby Center or the Bump or What to Expect, or any of these platforms, to say, okay, so the next 40 weeks is going to look like this. It might not be
the linear, What to Expect, what you're expecting, right? I mean, like, you read that book religiously.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's no clear roadmap, but at least you understood the first trimester, the second trimester, the third trimester, et cetera. And then, of course, the fourth trimester and raising your kids. And when we both entered perimenopause with different symptoms, by the way, mine are different from Stacy's. And it was clear that we are information-based beings. That's just how the world is. You want to gather information that's credible and evidence-based and validated, and also peer validated, that your friends have understood it.
Good point.
And
yes.
there wasn't that centralized place. I didn't feel like, Stacey and I didn't feel like we could go to a destination, do our research, inform ourselves, empower ourselves, understand that what we were going through was totally normal. And then how do we activate not being in pain anymore or not suffering anymore? Or what doctor do we talk to, or what products could help us?
Right. How
And
do
there
we
was
even
nothing.
find a daughter to talk to, a doctor to talk to about it? Yeah.
Correct. And so we, from that moment, kind of galvanized, and we both come out of, digital health and proactive prevention. And that's really kind of how we think about perimenopause, is this, you have proactive prevention. You have this big window of time. It can be 2 years, it could be 10 years. And how do you proactively prevent these kind of all mortality impacts to your life? And how do you surround yourself by the doctors that you may need, or the providers that you may need, and the community that you need? And so that was really the impetus for it, was our own kind of journey. Yeah.
I love it. And you're not doctors. And you said,
No.
How can we gather up these resources for women like us, not just from a practitioner perspective? So I think I love that, because we need our practitioners. We need more practitioners that really understand menopause, but we also need women like you who know that. How can we support each other, right? I love that we have these companies now built by us for us, so.
And I think that's a great point, Julie, is that when we founded HotPause Health, we were very intentional that Stacy nor I are medical professionals. We are not board certified in anything other than, being funny. But besides that, we had to bring together a consortium, and it's all women, very intentionally, from OBGYNs to dermatologists to sleep medicine to mental health professionals to nutritionists, to fitness to pelvic health. Like, the symptoms are so broad that not a single person could really identify and help support that journey. And by the way, women have different ways in. I mean, for example, I go to a OBGYN, but I also go to a Chinese medicine doctor who I've been going to since before I even had babies, because I really believe in acupuncture. So there's a real yes and, I think, that many women can approach this journey and this part of life. Is, I don't think it has to be either or. It really can have
it can't be sides. Really, it's hard to have. I think it's almost unfair to expect the doctor that delivered your babies, if you decided to have children that way, is going to be the exact doctor that's going to help you through perimenopause and menopause. Maybe they are, highly unlikely, and that's okay. We have this feeling that we don't want to hurt our doctor's feelings or something, like I can't add to the team, but we know menopause is a team sport. So
that's right. I mean,
I like the and.
It's the yes and I think that oftentimes conversations can become polarized or black and white, or you're going to do menopause hormone, therapy, or you're against it. It's like, you can do everything. You can do whatever you want to do, because it's going to work for you.
Right.
So
and we're
believe
all different, aren't we?
Yeah, that's correct.
Just like all the symptoms, we're all different. I'm just looking here. Brenda said she never had a hot flash. My friends hate you. Yes. We don't hate you, but jealous. And then Dana says agree wholeheartedly. Yeah. It's it takes all of these different perspectives, and it's okay to find and source what I call a success team, right? All the people that you need on your team. One of the things I love on your website, besides resources to find a doctor in your local area, or professionals in all these different categories, and great products, information, and community. Did I say great products? Does that sound biased? I am, have a special affinity to one of the products there, but But what I was going to say though is your values. I love that you share your values out loud, and I kind of want to use that as a framework for our conversation. And so your first value is empowerment. So
That's
tell us
right.
what the two of you meant by empowerment, because that's one
So
of my favorite words, because I just think we get more badass as, we go through menopause after we get over the fact that, oh, wow, things are really changing. So.
yeah, I think empowerment is really intentional as our first value. Empowerment for Stacy and myself when we began this conversation was really information.
Mm-hmm.
And if you aren't empowered by information, then you'll be very challenged to find resources or a path that really is going to help you. And so empowerment in that beginning stage, and I'll give you the example of symptoms. Your symptoms are real.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to empower you and say, hey, by the way, you're not crazy. These are real. And if you're getting gaslighted or if you're being dismissed, whether that's by a doctor or at your office or workplace or by your husband, you're not crazy.
No.
So that empowerment moment and saying, hey, I'm going to raise my hand and say, this isn't right. And so information is really, really important for women in particular, and particularly in a stage and age where there's been such a lack of information. So again,
especially for perimenopause,
yep.
I think I love that you guys are framing around perimenopause, because those are the early conversations, and that's when we feel the most afraid because we don't know what's happening in our body. So empowering from that place is really, really good. Really
so
good.
empowerment is truly a cornerstone of how we feel every day, and it helps us do the work every day. That we aren't just in this silo talking to ourselves, that we are empowering women with information about treatment options or research that just came up, or here's a provider who's unbelievable, or here's a product that people love, go try it out for yourself. So empowerment is a really, really key one.
I love it. And information is power.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Okay, let's see. I've got them written down right here. Connection, right?
Yeah, connection. So connection is a huge one for us. And again, Stacy and I had each other. So we were able to connect with one another. And some people may or may not have that. You might have that with your best friends, but maybe your best friends aren't going through perimenopause early, or maybe they don't even know that they're happening. Maybe your mother never told you about perimenopause.
Yes.
Didn't even have a conversation about it and just rolled through her 40s and 50s, and maybe she was a little grumpy and a little sweaty, but you never acknowledged that. And so how do you create that community and connection, right? And Stacy and I that was another place where we thought, how do we bring this together for women? So we had each other.
I love it. And you're right. Even some of the friends that were your friends before, they might not be ready to say even the word menopause.
That's right.
When I started MenoWell, I have friends who I love and trust with my life that still like, why do you have to say menopause?
I know. Well, it's such a dirty word, right? It's this very dirty word. I mean, you were bold enough to put it on the front of your package. That's a huge deal. That is such from a language standpoint, from a messaging standpoint, from an articulation of benefit, right? That saying it on front and being loud and proud and saying, yes, this is a transition. And by the way, I think if you look at, for example, I'm Gen X, Stacy is millennial. We're right on that cusp. But if you think about pregnancy, like when my mother was pregnant, she hid it. She hid it for those 40 weeks. She wore big muumuus. Oh. She didn't talk about it. It was like, I'm not going to talk about my pregnancy. Right. But it takes a generational.
The big tent dress.
Yes,
act like the belly isn't there.
Yes, I have pictures. It's really bad. But when you equivocate pregnancy, again, this fertility female transition, it was hidden and secretive, and you didn't talk about it. And it took a generation, Gen X, to say, no, I'm not going to hide in my muumuu. Right. I'm actually going to come out and enjoy my pregnancy.
I'm going to wear my tight dress and show all the things.
Wear my tight dress. Yeah. And I'm going to take charge of my birth. And I'm going to take charge of my 40-week experience. I'm going to understand the implications. And I'm going to make a choice about how I want to give birth. You mentioned that in the beginning. If, maybe you had an OB/GYN, maybe you didn't. But women are being, that changed for birth and pregnancy.
Mm.
I think it is just happening now. I think we're on the precipice of that, of course, for menopause and perimenopause, saying, I'm not going to hide in the shadows anymore with my hot flashes.
No,
So
no.
I think it's great.
I love it. And I didn't think about it in the way that you are presenting it, but absolutely how we used to hide pregnancy. I know you don't remember this, but way back in the day, they couldn't even say the word on TV or show a pregnant woman, you know? So, and menopause is now emerging in the same way, from under the covers, under the shadow of the cloak of
Yeah.
silence. So really good point. Let's see what Meredith says. Says, has perimenopause always been experienced generation to generation? My mom never experienced it, she says.
Yeah.
Keyword, key phrase there. But my symptoms are definitely there. Oh, Meredith, yes. Our moms, they didn't talk about it, as we're just saying, but they also, many of them, they just took it in stride because they can't talk about it. So what do we, you just go, you just do, and you suffer in silence. And so I would say probably, I can't speak specifically for your mom. I don't know what you want to say about it, Melissa, but I'm sure she had some symptoms, but just maybe even didn't recognize them for herself.
Yeah. I mean, I think that again, she probably didn't even know that it was happening to her. So
Right.
I think that, I think if you're experiencing things and you feel like you're not living your best life, or you're not living your healthiest life, or you're not thriving in a way that you should, then activate. There's no time like the present. So
activate. And also, our mother's experience does not have to be our experience. It's not like a genetic thing. It could, there could be some connection, but today's woman may be experiencing something different than your mom. So it's okay, don't minimize your own experience because maybe your mom had a different experience. And also it's still honoring to your mother if you have a different experience than she does. So I love that you asked that question, Mara. It's really, really good. Let's see what Francis says. History made when Michelle Obama mentioned menopause and women's health in her speech. Yes.
I know.
Right?
I feel like
Shout
that might be
out
the
to
first
Michelle.
time ever that word has ever been used in a political sense.
In a political environment, regardless of your politics.
Yeah.
Shout out to Michelle Obama for saying the big M word on the big stage, acknowledging women, and Jill Biden, and all the research on. So we need that. We need it on the biggest stage. Okay. Humor. That's your next value.
So,
you did say you were certified in humor, so I'd like to hear a little more about that.
We're a little funny here at HotPause Health. And part of that, not part of, it was an extremely intentional conversation when Stacey and I created these values. And much of that came from the form of, and you said this in the beginning, you're in the middle of perimenopause, you might be raising children, you're managing your marriage. In my case, you have aging parents. Right. So it feels tight. And on any given day, I could just cry. Like you could just cry and be in a ball and hide. And so one of the ways that we at HotPause Health deal with this is that we make a lot of fun of certain things, and we have to laugh, and we are quippy and irreverent, and I would say sometimes sardonic. I push it a little bit more than Stacey does. But if you don't have that edge and you cannot laugh at certain parts of your day, whether it's a symptom or something is happening to you, you'll just cry. And so we are choosing humor over humiliation, and that's how we're approaching it.
I love it. Stacey's laughing already in her emoji here in the comments. But also I see it as a mindset piece because that's a big, I used to coach women entrepreneurs before MenoWell, and I know that our experience can be beyond our physical experience, can be directly shifted based on our mindset and the thoughts we have and the beliefs we have about the experience that we're having. And humor is a fantastic way to shift your mindset. Watching Laura and our team is always sending me funny reels. She's like, post this, post that, know, and because humor can unlock some of the tightness you're talking about, the heaviness, the sadness, the rage that many women experience. And you just can't be mad if you're laughing. So I love that.
and we have fun.
And
So, I mean, I think on this whole journey, if you are not having fun, you're kind of missing out.
what is the point? Same thing. It's one of our core values too, because being a perimenopausal menopausal woman, having a career or raising children or whatever you choose to do in your life purpose takes energy. It takes all of everything we've got, and the body is kind of like not supporting sometimes.
That's right.
So have joy, have fun, laugh at ourselves, and just have a good time. I love that. Health coach Angela Hayu says mindset is everything. She was one of our recent guests on Menolounge. She's so awesome. Mindset, yes. Mindset. Boy, that's something that we have to manage as much as our hormones. Okay, let's wrap up our core values around at HotPause Health on urgent change. I love this. Okay, go.
So again, Stacey and I come out of proactive prevention, and you cannot proactively prevent if you don't have the information, research, or resources to make decisions, to have
informed decisions. Yes.
Informed decisions. And so there's a gap. There's a significant gap, and it is trickling down. And so if you think about the fact that there are 41 million women in this country alone between the ages of 40 and 59, so you just start doing that math. We're the largest growing demographic in this country, which means we have power in our pocketbooks, in the way we vote, in the way that we're showing up.
That's right.
And so urgent change matters. So urgent change could be, we need more funding. At a governmental level, we need policies to change. If you think about the fact that NIH funding is around 10% for women's health.
Right.
It's a little tiny. Another quote that just blows my mind is that the NIH did not require clinical trials in this country to have female mice in their rodent clinic until 2016.
Wow.
Didn't matter. So
because all medical research and trials are on men anyway, so we don't really need
so it's on men.
Yeah.
And so
they're for men.
We have to show up and demand that we matter, our bodies matter, and that investing in our health matters, whether that's, again, at a government level, at a private sector level, so in your workplace.
Yeah.
In the M Factor, Shredding the Silence, amazing film. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Just saw it, I think, for the 4th time last night in San Francisco. Never gets old.
So good. It never gets old. And so when you look at what, for example, Genentech did, they knew that women were such a critical component of their workforce.
Right.
And that average age was,
45. That's correct.
Higher up than they thought.
Right.
And that if you lose those women, you have a brain drain.
Yeah.
So you better
support a hard cost associated with that brain drain. Right. Dollars, real dollars.
And so at HotPause Health, we really believe in that urgent change. And so we are constantly going to the forefront, that edge of making sure that women see what's happening at a policy level, see what we're doing, what you can do in your workplace. How do we begin to have those conversations and crack open what was otherwise completely dismissed? So if you have that conversation, the change can happen. That's what we believe.
I love it. So important. I love that your perspective is focused but wide. And adding this urgent change piece is so important because women's lives depend on it right now. Women are suffering. They are not feeling heard, seen, cared for. And it's just not okay.
Yeah.
We're done with that.
We're done.
We're done. And I'm Generation X, like by 5 seconds. Literally, I'm the last, I'm like, whoo, I just barely made it. But it's really your whole crew that is driving that pressure forward, and that we are not going to sit by, like, you don't do anything in silence. So
that's right.
That's what creates that urgent change. So good. So good. Oh my gosh. Okay. So if a woman is just going to HotPauseHealth.com for the first time, where do you want her to go? What do you think she should do to really start to benefit from the platform right away?
I think I'm going to break it up into a rule of threes. Okay. So first and foremost, symptoms. know what's happening to your body. And it can range from anything from skin symptoms to body symptoms to mental health symptoms to vaginal and sexual. The gamut is so broad that if you are experiencing anything that maybe you haven't experienced before, go learn about it. Don't be left in the dark. Go empower
education first, right?
Education first, and educate yourself on those symptoms. So that's number one. Number two, I would go to the provider directory. Again, this was a place where we took a lot of thought, and we included as many OBGYNs as we could. All of the North American Menopause Society certified OBGYNs are on there, but that only answers certain parts for certain women. And I will say again, in this yes and kind of philosophy that we have, if you want to find a nutritionist, we have nutritionists. If you want to find a functional medicine doctor, we have functional medicine doctors. If you want to find a Chinese medicine, an acupuncturist, we have that. Mental health professionals, it's a huge component. 23% of women, again, between the ages of 40 and 59 in this country are on an antidepressant. That's a big, big number. So mental health is it's the number one disability for women in this country, depression. So we put that on there as well, because again, it's not just a one size fits all. Really,
many women are prescribed antidepressants when they go in for their perimenopause symptoms. So it's really important that you address that.
Yeah, and so going on to that provider directory, and once you've understood, okay, my symptoms are real, I'm not totally bananas, I am a check, go get help. Do not suffer. You don't have to suffer. So go get some help. You can search by zip code. And then I think another part that really is important to Stacey and myself is access to care. So if you are in a location that might be far away,
remote,
there's telehealth. And so we have included all of the telehealth providers from MIDI to Evernow to Alloy to Genève to Winona. We've put them on there for a reason, which is to say you don't have to suffer if you're in a small town, in a rural location, there are people who can help you. And so go find those resources from a telehealth standpoint. So really, really important. And then last but not least, I would say the product section. And you brought this up at the beginning. And, when we were having babies, you knew exactly what crib you should buy, what stroller you should buy, what car seat you should buy. Like my registry was unreal because my friends just told me what to get. They just said, Melissa, just get this. And I did because I listened. But in this case, we are peer sourcing products from other women and saying, this is the best hair care, or this is the best supplement, or this is the best moisturizer I've ever used in my whole life, or this is the best bar I've ever had in my whole life. Right behind Julie, right there. And so we've done that really intentionally because choices matter. Is it efficacious? Is it safe? Does it work? Is it delicious? Fabulous. Then go check it out.
I love it. It's just such a great place to go, and you can hop in, just for a little quick visit, but it's more, it's better to like get your cup of tea or your coffee or afternoon and your bar and go dive in and really spend some time, because I've had a chance to go in and look around, and you've done a beautiful job. It's easy to navigate, and it's just really super helpful. Let's see, food, family, and travel says love, love, love. That's such useful information. Health coach Angela said she is going to check it out. Everybody should hop over to HotPauseHealth.com. Okay, you've shared a lot of good things. Such wonderful thinking you guys have put into this. I love how thoughtful HotPause Health is, and it's really, really special. And so we've talked about a lot of things. Any tips or anything you would like to share, or did I squeeze all the juice out of you already?
No, I think I would say that there are about 5 tips that are great. So number one, know your body best. You know your body best. Nobody can tell you that you don't know your body and that you're not crazy. So go learn about those symptoms. Number 2, find a menopause specific provider. Go find this person or multiple people. If you have hair loss, go to the dermatologist. If you have sleep issues, go go find sleep medicine. So there are lots of ways in. And I would definitely go to this directory and see what you can find, because there are people who can help you. And then I would say number 3 is use your toolbox. And we've heard this a lot from some of the best and the brightest in this field, that you have this toolbox of 5, right? You have your nutrition. That's what goes in your body. That's what Julie's doing. So she's making sure that you're eating.
It's the biggest lever we have that we can control, you know?
Control it. That's right. So
yes.
you can control your nutrition. So MenoWell has done a brilliant job, whether it's plant-based fiber or maca root for, you know, balancing. There's so many things that you can do with nutrition. So what goes in matters. Number 2, exercise. You're going to hear a lot about that. I know that Julie covers this all the time with some of the best fitness professionals in this country and in this space, that strength training matters. Your bones and musculoskeletal are going to thank you when you start to lift those weights, right? It's not just about cardio. So that's, exercise is huge. Mental health. So again, you know, we spoke about the fact that it's the #1 disability in this country. Go get help if you are suffering. Go find a mental health professional. Again, that's, you know, something that you can control. Sleep. Sleep is a really, really big one. It's actually one of the reasons why we have Dr. Kin Yuen on our medical advisory board. She is at UCSF and teaches at Stanford. She's one of the leading voices in women's health specific to sleep. And women are often ignored in this conversation.
Have her on the Menolounge.
She's amazing.
Huge.
She's game changing. So sleep is huge. And then last but not least, therapeutics. Right? So if menopause hormones therapy is right for you, go find out. Find somebody who can help you. Again, there's a lot of misinformation about there's a lot of, you know, chatter, but it works. And so go see if that's an option for you. Number 4, find your community. Find other women who've gone through this. I mean, like, this is a community right now. And so, you know, the MenoWell team has brought a community together. So find your community, and, you know, you'll learn a lot, because sometimes it's not just a doctor. Sometimes you just need somebody who's going through it with you to help you understand. And then last but not least, and you brought this up, Julie, was laugh. Because if you can't laugh, you're going to cry.
Exactly. So, might as well just laugh it out, right?
Yeah, and the power of laughter. So don't forget that.
So good. So thoughtful. Love, love, love. Let me see. Let's see. Chef Katie says, love what MPH is doing. I love a good acronym. I mean, I said MPH. HPH is doing. Thank you for being an incredible resource. And that would be HotPause Health. And then Francis of Yoga Universe is, there's rice in the bars. No rice in the bar, sweetened with dates. So unless there's chocolate chips, there's a tiny bit of cane sugar if there's chocolate chips. So, all right, last question. You know, we're MenoWell. And what does MenoWell, that name, but it's more the phrase behind it. What does that mean to you, Melissa?
MenoWell, first of all, I'm so glad that you put that on the front of your package, because it has impact. And if you can showcase that to people, whether they're walking through an aisle, it's gonna make them have a conversation. It's a conversation piece. And I think you've said this before, it's the stick, right? It becomes this stick that you can have this conversation. I think that for me, MenoWell, wellness is such a key component of this transition. And we will end up living upwards of 30% of our lives in a perimenopause or postmenopausal state. And women live so much of our lives, when you start to look at that data, with disabilities towards the end of our lives. We live in chronic health issues and pain. And so wellness is such a key component. MenoWell is living the wellness of those 30% of your life the best that you can, because it could be the best part of your life, right? There's no reason why it can't be. And so to your point about nutrition being one of the levers that we can control, if wellness becomes part of a daily ritual for you, that you are feeding yourself, you're feeding your soul, you're nourishing your body with wellness, that's the first start. I mean, again, it's the mindset. And so that's what it means to me.
I love that. You had me at feeding your soul. I think we should change our tagline now. Power food to the pause, feeding your soul. I'm
Yeah.
going to just give you all the credit for that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thanks to you and Stacey for all you are doing for perimenopausal women with information that is filtered, thought through, thoughtful, and I know it's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Looking forward to being that spot to send all the perimenopausal women who need resources to figure out their journey, and they don't have to be alone. So thank you to both of you. Let's see. Vicky says, love the double click on self-care. Oh, so good. I think we should just end it right there. The double click on self-care is so
That's
good.
amazing. Thank you, Julie. You're amazing.
Thank you. Back
Thank you
at
for all you
sis.
do.
Keep doing your beautiful work in the world, you too. And here comes perimenopause.
Woo!
Right? Woo. Thanks,
Thank
HotPauseHealth.com. Everybody, go over there. Download the free guide on navigating through menopause. Sign up for the newsletter. I signed up for the newsletter today. I'm like, I'm not even on the list.
It's
I
gonna make
am
you
now.
laugh, Julie. Just you wait. You
Good.
might. It's
Good.
real funny.
Can't wait. Okay, be well.
Thank
Talk to you.
you.
See you soon. Okay.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.